give me shelter. Simple life is all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter.
So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the We Too Are Liberians movement. Tonight, we have a very special guest with us, who is no other but Joar Dahn, who is running for mayor of Darby Borough. Joar brings with him years of government experience working in both local and state government, where he's advocated. Hold for a second. I guess we're getting the call here. Joar have advocated for constituent and worked tirelessly to make an impact on the community. Now I'd like to welcome back to our show here, Joel. Seemed like I missed him, so I'll go back. Hopefully, Joel comes on here shortly. So Joel is not available at the moment, but I'll go back. And Joel actually brings with him years of experience working within both local and state government, where he's advocated for constituents and worked tirelessly to make an impact on the community. With his extensive political background, Joel has been a key advisor to state representatives and mayoral candidates alike, always striving to drive positive change. Tonight, we'll be talking to Joel about his decision to run for mayor and his plans for Darby Borough. Welcome to the show, Joel. It's good to have you. Seems like Joel is not here. I have to get Joel to come back to the show. So let me see what's going on here. Joel was in, but he left. And so we'll have to bring him back to the show.
And is not.
I have a situation here. I'm not sure what's going on. We had Joel here. It seems like we're going to have to go back and start this show all over. Let me give him a call. Not delete. Okay, so we'll have to restart the show. Oh, man. So we lost him for a second. We'll try to... Hey, Joel. Listen, I lost you for a second. You got to come back. So I got to bring you in. Okay. Thank you. So George's going to be back in. Unfortunately, we lost him for a second because of some technical problem here. But we think we'll be able to get him back here on the show here as soon as we can. So as soon as Joel comes back in, hopefully he uses the same link to get back on the show. Time now is about 8:06. Yes, seems like he's getting back on, so he should be back on the show here shortly. All right. Here we go. We have Joel back in. Joel, welcome to the show. What we're going to do here, I'm going to try to share this show here. Let me go. I talked a little bit about you already, but we will go ahead. Let me see if I can share the show here and see if you can, because we want to have as many people on the show here to watch this live. So here the show is live. I'm going to try to share it. I think we already have one share. So let me try to share it now with as many people as possible. So I'll find you and then I'll share with you as well, Joel. I'm trying to share.
No worries, man. Hey, thanks for having me too, by the way.
Okay. All right, Joel. It's a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the show. We went ahead and introduce you. We talked a little bit about you. Again, I'll say good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the We Too Are Liberians Movement podcast or podcast, whatever you may call it, a platform. Tonight we have a very special guest with us, who is no other but Joar Dahn, who is running for mayor of Darby Borough. As you all know, Joar brings with him years of experience working within both local and state government, where he's advocated for the constituents and worked tirelessly to make an impact on the community. With his extensive political background, Joel has been a key advisor to state representatives and mayoral candidates alike, always striving to drive positive change. Tonight, we'll be talking to Joel about his decision to run for mayor and his plans for Darby Borough. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Hey, Charles, thank you for having me, man. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. Thank you for this platform, the We Too Are Liberian movement. It's definitely a pleasure, to be here, and the work that you guys are doing is very instrumental to the community at large. So I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
So the pleasure, man. Thank you for having me again, Joel. Like you say, I like that response, and it's a pleasure to have you on our show to share time and space with us. Joel, we're going to go right ahead. Let's start by talking about your decision to run for mayor of Darby Borough. What motivated you to take this step into public service and such a big scale?
Thank you for that question, Charles. My decision to run for mayor of Darby Borough comes from a very deep love for this community and a strong desire to be a part of its transformation. Darby is literally a diamond in the rough. I've seen firsthand also the challenges that our borough face, whether it's public safety or just stagnation or the need for transformative leadership. But I've also seen the incredible strength and resilience of this same community, especially the residents. Honestly, what motivates me the most was the belief that Darby needed. They deserve leadership that not only listens to them but also takes action. I come from a background of community involvement, student leadership, and I've also believed in service above self. That's always been my motto, put the people before yourself. So stepping into this role is not about politics for me. It's about the people. It's always been about the people for me. For me in Darby, our community has lost a lot of faith and trust in our local government. So this thing right now, honestly, it's about restoring that trust, building opportunities, and also making sure that every resident, feel seen, heard, and valued. The community actually asked me. They petitioned me to partake on this journey. So, I'm honored. I don't take this responsibility lightly, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this journey.
Excellent response, Joel. It's a pleasure again to have you. We're going to try to be as succinct as possible. We say we try to do this show as little as we say about 30, 45 minutes, maybe under an hour. And so we're going to run right into our very first question. And that will be, you've worked in both local and state government over the years. Right. So how has that experience shaped your outstanding understanding of the needs of community, and how will it influence your approach as a mayor?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And honestly, I've enjoyed my time working at the different levels of government. But those opportunities literally have they've provided me a unique perspective on how government operates. More importantly, how it should serve the people. I've done constituent service work, so I know what that looks like as far as how the people deserve to be served. I've had the opportunity to see what works and also what doesn't work when it comes to policy, budgeting, and other community engagement. At the state level, it was those relationships that I built that have been very critical to what I'm going to be doing here as mayor in Darby. As far as the advocacy for resources that can uplift our communities and things of that nature. But also locally, I've seen and I've also dealt with the day-to-day issues, like the trash collection, our policing and access to service, that those are things that directly impact our people. The one of the main problems we face here in Darby is that there's not a lack of resources, there's a lack of knowledge that resources are available. A lot of our people, a lot of our residents don't even know that there's opportunities available at the state or federal level that they could take advantage of as residents of Darby Borough. So me being in this position as mayor Darby. I plan on revitalizing the mayor's office to turn it into a community office, into an office of resource for the people. What that looks like is, in Darby Borough, our state rep, state senator's office, none of them are located in Darby Borough, including our congresswoman's office. They are within miles, and probably not even probably, they're all driving distance. Not everybody in Darby has a vehicle or have access to a vehicle, but the mayor's office is right in the rec center, right down next to our police station, right in our police station. Everybody can walk to the mayor's office. So what I imagine the mayor office to look like is it's literally like a resource hub, and what kind of resources might this incorporate? Resources from our congresswoman's office, from our state rep's office, our state senator's office, because everybody can walk to the mayor's office, but not everybody may be able to get to Chester to go see our congresswoman when they have those federal issues. So, I kind of want to have like some might say like a mobile office for all levels of government. So that way we can serve our constituent a lot better, because they'll be more inclined to come to the mayor's office because it's literally in their neighborhood. So that's those are the different unique perspectives that I bring, and especially with my different levels of government involvement. Those are the kinds of things that I've seen, working in those capacities.
Wow, Joy, that was Paul Pack. That'll take us to our next question. Here, you have also been an advisor to both state and representative and mayoral candidates. So how have these roles prepared you for this mayoral race? That's one question. Can you give us some examples of how you've helped drive change in your previous role?
Yeah, good question. So I've worked on a couple campaigns. My very first campaign was a candidate who was running for state representative in the 160th district of Pennsylvania's legislative district, state house. We won that primary, serving as an advisor or a campaign manager, or whatever you may call it. I don't get too big up in the titles, but serving in those roles to mayoral candidates or state representatives, those was tremendous learning experience for me. I had an opportunity to have like a front row seat to see how policy is shaped, but also how campaigns are built. As serving as campaign managers, I had to build campaigns. So how those campaigns are built, and how real changes are also made, but not just within the government, but on the campaign trial, the campaign side of things. So on the campaign trial, those opportunities and those experiences were very instrumental in shaping me right now as a candidate for mayor. But one of the key things I've learned is that leadership, as I previously said, is not just about having a title. It's also about building consensus. Managing resources, and just having a clear vision. I've helped draft legislations. I've organized community outreach efforts. I've built strategies that directly affect issues like affordable housing, public safety, and youth development. I've done all of those things. I've had an opportunity to be the youngest statewide public official for the whole Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In that capacity, I had an opportunity to address our state appropriation committee, to do so many advocacy efforts as far as advocating for more resources. So under my leadership, our advocacy efforts, we were actually able to get extra $1 million for the state system of higher education, which incorporates all 14 state-owned institutions of higher education. So those are experiences that have taught me to put people together to solve problems, and that's exactly what I bring to the table as mayor of Darby. So I'm not coming into this race with just theory. I'm coming on with hands-on experience and a result-driven mindset, because I've done this stuff.
So that was excellent, Joel. But as you know, Darby is there's a wide variety of I'll say immigrants population in the area.
Right.
You are a Liberian-born.
Yes.
I'm Liberian-American.
Yes.
So if you were to be asked the question to respond to the average Manfatu or Patamba Klugo, I want you to kind of break it down. And I'm not trying to be ethnocentric or something like that.
Yeah.
But for some of them who are not able to understand,
Yeah.
because they'll be electing you, they'll be trying to support
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
How would you communicate with these people so that they can feel part of this process?
Yeah. No, no. The message to them is the same, and so I'm a proud Liberian American. I've always made sure everybody knew that. At my high school, in my college, everywhere, every institution I've been a part of, I've always been proud of my heritage, and I've always broadcasted that. Because it's something I'm very proud of. It's a part of my identity. It's a part of what shaped my character and my leadership skills. So you know. I'm one of those people that you could take into any room and I'll be okay with. So if I'm talking to Ma Fatu or Uncle Atta or anybody else, I'm letting them know I'm the young man that's, and I'll break it down in colloquial. So excuse me for the others that may be watching here. Omar, this is your son. I've done the work. I've done the work. I've been at different levels of government, and I've been able to connect with people that are able to help our community.
Okay.
So electing me is not just because I'm your son. It's because I'll be doing what's best for the community. It's because I already have done those work. I've already went out there and built those relationships with certain people, that are going to be instrumental, important in making sure what we need happen in our community can happen. So to the immigrant community, I mean, you know, the immigrant community in Darby currently doesn't, they're very excited about this candidacy just because of representation. But like you said here earlier, this thing isn't about immigrant or whatever, or anything else. This is about what's best for our community in general. So while I may be an immigrant, I'm going to be the mayor for everybody. So just like everybody, I tell everybody else I'm the best candidate because of what I've done. It's the same way I'm going to tell Ma Fatu or anybody else, Omar, I'm the best because of what I've already done and because of what I have the capacity to do. I'm not the best just because, I'm an immigrant like you. I'm the best because here's what I've done and here's what I can do.
Perfect. I like that. So then I understand that your campaign focuses on four main areas:
Yeah,
safety, recreation, small business support, and
yeah.
infrastructure. So let's dive into these. First, can you tell us why safety is such a key focus for your campaign?
Yeah, safety is very much a key focus to this campaign because there's a lot of issues that's been going on in Darby. Just last week alone, we had two shootings in the span of about 2 days. Weeks prior to that, there's been shootings that we've just been, we share borders with Philadelphia, so sometimes what goes on in Philly, we may inherit, so that's why I have this grand plan of making sure we can establish these relationships that I've already put the groundwork, the framework together on with neighboring municipalities, which incorporates, like I said, Philadelphia, which is one of our bordering neighbors. So we want to implement a community policing model that that basically advocates for our people as far as law enforcement, and residents relationship, right? So just a year ago, my father came from Game 6 of the Sixers game, Sixers versus Knicks. He came from this game and was right outside of his home, and literally some gunmen tried to rob him right outside of his own home. My father decided to put up a fight. He knocked the gun away, and these gunmen were decided to take out. One of them decided to take our gun, take our knife instead, and stabbed him multiple times. He literally could have bled, was supposed to bleed to death, according to the hospital. But luckily, Darby police came, got him in the ambulance, and was able to get him to the hospital. His life was spared and saved after a couple weeks, right? Not every story is going to be that successful, right? But those are things that could have been avoided, right? My parents' house in front of their block, their lights there are really dim. That's a safety concern. You know, we're in 2025. Our streets should have LED lights. They should be well lit.
Right.
One of the biggest deterrent of crimes in any community is a well lit area or police presence. So on the what I'm trying to do, we want to make sure we have our community. I'm sorry, I'm saying okay, yeah. I want to make sure that we have a community that is welcoming to family, and criminals know that they're not welcome here. What does that look like? I want to make sure we incorporate cameras in different areas, especially the hot areas in Darby's. There are a lot of crimes that end up going unsolved My car was stolen a couple months ago. Darby Borough police came, they did what they needed to do, but we haven't solved that crime just yet. That's been a couple months now, and we still don't have the answers to that. Like I said, my father was robbed and stabbed right in front of his own home. That still has yet to be solved, and that's over a year. So we have an amazing police department that do great community policing. They're in the community. They just need leadership. And the mayor's job is the primary job of the mayor is oversight over our police department. And I believe I'm currently well equipped to be able to navigate that and give our police officers the leadership that they deserve.
That's great, great response. Joel, I'm going to pivot for a little bit because I did some research, right?
Yeah.
I did some research on Darby Borough and saw that the current mayor, who's your opponent,
Yeah.
had a lot of legal issues.
Did you say my opponent?
Yes.
Okay.
Did my background check here, and he has some legal issues. He was arrested and put to jail after pleading guilty to assault of a councilman
Right.
in the borough chamber. Now, every news outlet in that area, I believe it was even on the national news,
Right.
things like that. Every news outlet had that story going when it happened. I also learned that he's currently on probation right now, along with a host of other issues, including DUI. How is he still able to be mayor after this? My next question now, it's my understanding also that members of the community have protested, demanding that he resign.
Right.
What's your take on this?
Yeah, Charles. The mayor, my opponent, the mayor, the incumbent mayor, he's had his legal issues. It's unfortunate, and I pray for the brother as well. I pray for him and his family. But this is America, man. You'll be surprised what's allowed and what's not, what happens and what doesn't. We have a president, that has legal issues and was still able to be president. So. As far as the mayor's his legal issues, I try not to speak on that. That's his personal issues, and I pray for him. I hope it works out. But as far as that, man, I try to shy away from that. I'm wishing the brother well in that quest, but I currently believe I'm in a state right now that I'm the better fit candidate for our community, So I like to talk about what I can do, what I'm planning on doing. So I try to shy away from talking too much about the brother's downfall, So I'll just leave that at that.
Great response. All right, so then your campaign actually again focuses on 4 pillars, I would say.
Right.
1, I believe you have safety. 2, recreation. 3, I believe, was small business, and 4, infrastructure. So, and then now that that's mentioned in one of your priorities, what are your thoughts on how Darby Borough's park and recreation spaces can be improved, and how do you plan to make them more accessible to residents?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, man. I just plan on revitalize what we currently have, because we do have some parks. We have parks. We have a recreation center, a state of the art one, newly built as well. So we have the infrastructures in place. But we have a park that's really nice, a soccer field that's really nice. But what I'm planning on doing, like I said, is better lightings, the LEDs. We're going to upgrade some of those equipments. We're going to make sure the maintenance is regularly maintained. We're going to have regular maintenance. We'll also like to explore other options in creating more structured programs for our youth, especially in our rec center. We have an amazing rec center, but there's not really any programs happening in there. How can we have the infrastructure, but we're not utilizing those infrastructure that our taxpayer dollars has spent millions of dollars in building? So we're going to try to put programs together, whether that's sports leagues, art programs, community events, or just, fostering outlets to bring families together, So that's what we're going to try to do regarding that.
Awesome, awesome. So if you have tuning for our viewers, this is the We to Our Liberals Movement platform. We have with us in studio today Joar Dahn, who is aspiring for a mayor, position, and he's here sharing with us his plans, his thoughts and things of that nature. And so again, this is the We to Our Liberals Movement, the podcast that in the business of not manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers, as we say. So we're very proud of you, Joel. We're going to transition to our next question. And this question focuses on small business or businesses. So small businesses play a crucial role in any community. How do you plan to support and help Darby Borough's small businesses owner thrive? That will be one question. The next one will be, are there particular initiatives you are considering?
Sure, sure, sure. Let me start by saying small business are literally the heartbeat of Darby Borough, right? We are in prime real estate. We're in prime location to be an economic hub of all of Pennsylvania. I mean, we're within miles of downtown Philadelphia. We have public transportation that takes us right to downtown Philadelphia. We also have the airport that's literally less than less than a couple miles away from us. So we are in prime real estate to be a economic stronghold in Delaware County and all of Pennsylvania. So I plan on making sure, and this is something that I'm currently working on. I plan on putting together a small business resource center or chamber of commerce, to help our business owners. As I mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities available at the state and federal level that a lot of residents don't know. That applies to businesses too. So there are grants available that some of these businesses could be utilizing and just don't even know they exist, or just may not know how to apply for grant. Not everybody's a grant writer. So we want to have that. We want to be able to have that ecosystem where we are able to help each other, whether it's accessing grants or mentorship or just, what is marketing support. So those are all the things we want to do. We also want to, cut some red tape. We want to cut some red tape from our permits and zoning, because those are some of the issues I've heard from some of our business owners. We also want to actively promote shopping local here in Darby. We want to promote those initiatives to help boost our economic activity, but also boost our community pride as well. So we want to encourage our people to shop local, and we want to make sure our businesses actually have those resources that's available to them that they may just not know of.
Awesome. You sound like a sage, man. So with all these plans in mind, Joel,
yeah,
what do you see as the biggest challenge facing Darby Borough today? And how do you plan to overcome them?
Yeah, man. That's a great question. I gotta think about that. There's a lot of obstacles in Darby. As far as what would be the biggest one,
oh yeah. That single one would say.
yeah,
How do
honestly,
you plan on overcoming that particular challenge?
Yeah. So I would just say right now, if I had to pick one, I would just say that the biggest challenge or obstacle right now would be restoring trust. Whether that's between residents and the government, or between law enforcement and the community, or just among neighbors. There's a lot of division, and those division has been holding us back over the years. And my goal, honestly, is to lead with transparency, to bring everybody together, and to help rebuild that trust, whether that's through real actions or just open communications. The mayor's office, when I'm in there, it's going to be an open door policy. Everybody is welcome. Not just a select few, a connected few that's connected somehow to other elected officials. No, we're going to have open door policy where everybody is going to have access to the resources or to the elected officials that's supposed to have their interests. So we're just going to restore that trust, man. Honestly, once we restore that trust, I feel like Darby addressing all of our other issues could be a lot easier. But first we just have to get the community to actually trust in the government again, to actually trust in the process.
I'm exceedingly proud of you, man, Joel.
I appreciate that, brother.
I'm really, really excited for you, and I hope all the best for you. So then I'll move on to the next question.
Sure.
Our question here will be: you have a reputation for being a strong advocate for your constituents.
Right.
Can you tell us about a specific instance where you went above and beyond for a community member or a group?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, man. I always try to go above and beyond in any capacity, in everywhere I am. But yeah, there was so as I mentioned earlier, I work for the state senate. I did some constituent service work. So there were instances where there was a group of seniors who were basically about to lose access to transportation for the medical appointment. And they called the senator's office, and I worked with them. I was able to coordinate with our transportation agencies and some local nonprofits to create some shuttle programs that are actually still active today. It just reminded me of how small actions like that can change people's lives, and that's the kind of leadership I bring to the table. I bring to the mayor's office because, like I said, these are things that are still going on today, and just that small gesture of going above and beyond to make sure I can rectify that situation for these seniors. That's a life changing experience for some of them because, like I said, residents of Darby may not have access to transportation or other stuff to get to those resources, whether it's at the state level or at the federal level. They might not be able to get to those areas. So, just going above and beyond for those seniors in that manner, is something now that I reflect on. That I consider a small action, but now that I reflect on it, that's something that's actually life changing.
That's awesome. So then, as a mayor, Joel, you need to collaborate with various local government,
Sure,
local organizations, excuse me, businesses and residents.
sure,
So,
sure.
what's your approach to fostering strong partnerships across the community?
Sure, man. Yeah, I'm somebody that's big on relationships. Not just building it, but maintaining it, man. Partnerships are key. Like I told you, I've been involved in a not just politics, but the community side of things over the years for a very long time. I've been doing whether it's student policy, student politics, or nonprofit work, or just coaching or mentoring, or the list goes on. But I've been doing stuff for a long time. So I believe that partnerships are key in any organizations, right? I also believe in meeting people where they are, which is why I talk about this, bringing these resources to the mayor's office, because sometimes the people just want to stay in their area, or they may not just be able to get out there. But sometimes you just got to take the government to them. Some people you got to let them know that it's here. And not everybody's going to come out to, and that's there's many different layers of why that may happen. But I believe in just meeting people where they are. Whether it's small business owners or educators or youth leaders. I like to meet them all where they are. But me personally, as far as the community partnership, I plan on hosting regular roundtables, creating advisory councils. That is going to reflect our community, but also making sure that everybody has a seat at the table when decisions are being made. Because currently, that's one of the things that the residents that makes our residents feel weak to get involved in our community. They not only do they not see nothing changing, but they also feel like their voice is not heard. They feel like they're not welcome at the table. So I plan on making sure our community is involved. So this is one of the pillars of what I'm running on. So our community needs to have a seat at the table. They need to know they're heard, they're valued, and they need to know that I work for them. And that goes for every elected official. We all work for the people. So we want to make sure we have a strong partnership with the community.
Awesome. Awesome. That's perfect. Okay. So now, what role do you think local governments should play in improving education and youth services in Darby Borough? One question. I'll just add this next question to it. Do you have any plans to work with schools to improve these services?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, I was on the board for PASHE, the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education. I was on their board of governors. I was appointed by Governor Wolf and unanimously approved by the state senate. That was at 21 years old. So in that capacity, I had an opportunity, to see how governing a school body or entity of higher education operates, right? Right now, I'm running for mayor. I'm not running for school board. So, while the mayor may not directly control the school, we also do play a key role in what's going on. So I personally plan on working closely with the school leadership, but also to offer myself as a resource. So I plan on, supporting after school programs, whether that's mentorship initiatives or, offering internships and all of those different things. So those are things that I'm actually already doing as a private citizen. I mentor the young kids. I help them with internships, as far as, helping them apply for different internship and stuff of that nature. So I already do the work as a private citizen. So I'm going to amplify it even more now as the executive of the borough. So we're also going to explore utilizing some of the public spaces, whether that may be like the rec center or any other public space that's owned by our community. We're going to try to utilize that for whether it's tutoring or enrichment programs or anything that may benefit our young people. So it's my belief that our young people are our future. As a young man, there were a lot of people that believed in me, and so they nurtured me. They gave me different opportunities and different experiences. A lot of young people in Darby don't have somebody to believe in them, so they may not have those kinds of opportunities that I had when I was growing up. So I personally, and I want to make sure that some of those young people have those opportunities. So I want to make sure, we could streamline that to be able to get opportunities available for all of our youth, not just a selected few, like I'm saying.
Thank you very much. I'm just very excited for this young man. Joel, now, Darby Borough has a diverse population,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
How do
yeah,
you
yeah.
plan to ensure that all voices, this question might sound a little rhetorical. How do you plan to ensure that all voices from every demographic are heard and represented in
Yeah,
your administration?
yeah, that's a good question, man. It's funny when I ran for the student government presidency at my undergrad alma mater, Bloomsburg University. My slogan was strength in diversity, and I think that that is that is still very much active here in Darby as well. That is one of the pillars of our community. The strength in Darby, honestly, is this diversity. Like we have the whole world right here in Darby. There are people from every walks of life, different countries here in Darby. When we talk about America being a melting pot, this is really exemplified here in Darby. Like you see that melting pot. Darby is literally a microcosm of what America really is. So our diversity is our strength, and honestly, my administration will reflect that. And just like when I was student government president at my undergrad, my administration reflected that. It was a predominantly white institution, but we also have students of color. We have students from different walks of life, whether that may be other alternatives, whether it's their sexual preference or where they're from, or what they believe. We made sure everybody had a voice and everybody was well represented when I was the student government president. We're going to make sure we do that right here in Darby. Our administration will reflect what the community is, but we're also coming with a commitment to equity and inclusion, whether that's in our hiring practices or our outreach efforts, or even just in our policies. So we want the diversity and inclusion. We may even have a task force, honestly, to address just that. So we want to make sure we're every group here in Darby has a voice in shaping the future of Darby, because what Darby looks like now is different than what Darby looks like 10 years ago or 20 years ago when I first moved there, or even 50 years ago compared to what it looks like now. So as the community is changing, as the community is changing, and it may look different, we got to make sure that everybody in the community, their voices is heard, and their concerns is just as valid as the next person, and that's exactly what I'm bringing to the table.
Perfect. I mean, this response will take us to the next question, which is as we see more people move into suburban areas like Darby,
Yeah.
what steps do you think need to be taken to address issues of growth and development while preserving the town's character?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Growth is always welcome We welcome growth, but that's if it's as long as it's not at the expense of our personal identity as a community, right? That's something that's been going on in Darby a lot. Now we as a community we've been growing, right? But as we want to grow, I'm here for the people. I'm more here for the people than I'm here for any other interest. So growth for me looks like Darby. The majority of Darby Borough residents are not homeowners; they're renters. So growth for me, it may not just be more people coming in. Growth for me could look like we've increased our home ownership by 10% or
Right.
15% or 20%. So growth for me could actually be some stagnation as long as there's an increase in home ownership or in our community's development. Growth for me doesn't always look like just we're welcoming more people, because the people are going to come. They're going to come once our community is safe. Once our community is safe, we have schools and programmers in our community that they can identify with. They're going to come. So for me personally, I'm just focusing on right now. Let's protect our community first. Let's keep our community safe, and let's also encourage our people to actually own in our community. Let's advocate for smart development. Whether that's projects that may bring jobs and housing. While also protecting our historical sites. There's a lot of historical sites in Darby. I just went to the Friends Meeting House this Sunday and worshiped with them. That's one of the most historical sites in the United States. That's an institution that was put together well before the United States was even born. We have a library that's the first library in the whole country. It's still operating to this day. There's so much history here in our community. So growth for me looks like we're preserving some of our institutions or uplifting our people. Growth should benefit all of Darby, not just a select few. So that's how I look at that.
It's awesome, awesome. That was power packed as well. And now, Joel, I believe we've talked a lot about your plans for the future, but what is your vision for Darby Borough in the next 5 to 10 years? One question: and how do you see the town evolving under your leadership?
Sure. Well, 5 to 10 years. That's a long time from now. But it's crazy how quickly these time is just gonna be flying, man. So 5, 10 years from now, I don't have kids right now, right? I'm a dog dad. So my dog doesn't require that as much time and commitment and efforts as it would if I had kids to raise in this community, right? One of the reasons I'm running for Darby mayor is because I want to raise a family in this community, right? So I want to raise a family in this community, and to do that, I'm not comfortable raising a family in this community as it stands. I just told you my father was stabbed damn near to death recently. My car hijacked recently. The community is not safe, but in 5, 10 years, I see a Darby Borough where families feel safe, where young people have opportunities, where local businesses are here and they're thriving. In 5 to 10 years, man, I even envision cleaner streets, our rec centers, our parks, they're all revitalized. Our Main Street business corridors is thriving, and a government, especially a government and a government that people trust. That's the most important thing. Like I said, in 5, 10 years, the work that we plan on doing, I believe that it's going to be life-changing. It's going to be life-changing that our people are actually going to start having faith and trust in our government. And so I believe in 5 to 10 years, the residents of Darby Borough are going to be proud to be from Darby.
This is awesome. I like how you really articulate your plans. Seem like you really have the community at heart.
Sure.
So we're a little under 50 minutes.
Sure.
Maybe an hour. I'm going to try to ask you, maybe for the most part, 3 more questions, and we'll try to close here.
Sure.
Again, we'll try to be as succinct as we can. Our next question here is, now, what sets you apart from your competitors in this mayoral race, and why do you believe you are the right choice to lead Darby Borough?
Sure. I mean, the facts are the facts, man. The community asked me to run. I didn't just wake up and said, I want to be the mayor of Darby. No, the community came and said, Joar, we need you. We need you to run. The facts are also the facts that I've been in the trenches. I've been putting in the work over the years, not just with advising leaders, but also standing with the community. I've been a community organizer. I've done the protesting. I've solved real problems in our community, so there's a lot of different things that set me apart, man. But, I come with experience, government experience, at local level, state level, federal level, and I also come with a deep understanding of the challenges that our community face, that Darby faced. I'm not standing here as a politician looking for power. That's not me. I'm just a neighbor looking to help our community. I'm a neighbor looking to lead. I'm no politician. I'm who the people asked. I'm who the people trusted, to lead them forward. And so that's what set me apart.
Wow. Joe, I see you bring a lot of passion to what you do and your aspiration as well. Now, looking ahead, how do you plan to balance your professional duties with being accessible and responsive to the residents of Darby? Next, how will you stay connected with the community once in office?
Sure. Yeah, I plan on being very visible, man. Very accessible, very visible. It's a funny story. A lot of people, it's funny because a lot of my peers kind of made fun of me for this, but while I was in high school, from elementary school to high school, I went to school every single day, literally never missed a day of school, right? So at my high school graduation, I got this nice certificate for it, and everybody celebrated, standing ovation, so they were basically doing at the graduation ceremony, they would award the students that had 1 year perfect attendance, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Then when they got to 8 years, they were like, whoa, you never missed a day of school in 4 years or 8 years? But at the very end, they said, we have one student that never missed a day of school in 12 years. And everybody's like, that's not possible. Are you kidding? How? And then I was that student, So as far as actually showing up, that's me. I show up every single day, So when I'm mayor, I'm going to show up every single day. I do that all the time and everything else I have going on in life, everywhere, anyway, So I'm planning on being very accessible. I also plan on, to keep regular office hours, whether that may just be for community relations or, a resource hub. Like I said, my office is going to be a resource hub. So my door is always going to be open to the people, because who knows what they'll need tomorrow? Who knows when they may need a rent rebate, or who knows when they may need, some seniors may need SEPTA passes that they're entitled to. So I'm going to be an open book. I'm going to be accessible as I am right now. Whether that's, and I'm always going to show up. Like I said, I currently host community events, and I'm not an elected official, so I'm already in the community. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to do listening tours on different blocks. So even after this election, I've been doing it prior to election. I'm going to do it after election. So being responsive. That isn't just a community campaign promise. I'm not just making that as a promise because we're campaigning. It's a leadership style for me. I've always been responsive. I've always been approachable. I've always been accessible. That's just my leadership style.
Joel, before we get to our last question, I want to tell you a little bit. What's your background? What did you go to school for, if I would say, so that the average part-time by Manfatu and
Sure.
Woodland Avenue, because the essence of this We Too movement, like we say, is to educate, to cultivate, and to empower socially and morally conscious youth. So some young boys out there, and I did my research, found out that you hail from Budaburon Camp.
Sure.
So what word do you have out there? This will be, I'll say this is your final message. Now, what message would you like to send to the residents of Darby Borough as they, head to the polls in the upcoming election, and also to the Liberian community?
Sure. Well, let me pivot to your first question. I think your first question was my background. Did you mean educational background?
Yes, your educational background.
Okay, and then the last question was final message to the community.
So let's do one first, and then we get to the next one. Because I think I don't want to just do too
Sure.
So I did my own research found out that you actually was a refugee.
Yes.
You came to the States as a refugee. So what message do you have for some young boy or young girl out there who's struggling and, giving up, thinking that there's no hope? Because what you embody here is resiliency.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of us, came from that end and didn't do goof ourselves. But I
Sure.
see how you try yourself to giving back to the community. So what word do you have to
Sure.
the Liberian community?
Hey
Those who
man. Hey, I'm a proud refugee, Buddha refugee camp. That was as some of you, I'm sure most of you may know, I was born in the midst of the Civil War. Um, went and sought refuge in Ghana, and Ghana was very welcoming to those that were there as refugees. That was a home for at a time, the refugee camp. So I'm a young man that all the obstacles have always been there in my life. I'm not statistically speaking, I'm not supposed to be where I am. Statistically speaking, I'm not supposed to be standing here speaking before you right now in the great United States, asking for people to come and vote for me for mayor of my own hometown. Those are dreams and aspirations that are pretty unheard of. But they're God's plan. I'm a believer, and so I believe in divine intervention, and I believe that God has a plan for everybody, and I believe that everybody has a purpose in life. You have a purpose in life. You may not have found what your purpose is yet, but I'll say just keep seeking. Keep seeking for your purpose, and your purpose is going to come. And when it does come, you make sure you are prepared. You make sure you are prepared for when that time comes, because opportunity comes and you're prepared in time. Oh man, that's dreams right there. That's dreams waiting to happen. So I'll just say to any young person that may be watching this, stay strong, keep fighting. You never know what tomorrow is going to look like. I'm a young man that, like I said, was born in the midst of a civil war, that was a former refugee. Here I am today standing before you, running for mayor in the great United States. Anything is possible, especially in the United States. Where the American dream is a real thing. You can do anything you want to do in this country. You just have to believe in yourself and work hard. So that would be my message to that young person.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm a quote guy, and Nelson Mandela once said, "There's no passion to be found playing small, settling for a
Sure.
life that is less than the one you're capable of living." So we're really proud of you, and as you exceed lofty heights, we pray that you don't forget where you come from, and the same like you really got your head on your shoulder, and that'll take us to our last question here. Finally, Joel, what message now would you like to send out to residents of Darby Borough as they head to the polls in the upcoming election?
Sure. Darby is in a good position right now, to be able to revitalize itself. But the people need to be the ones to lead those charge, right? Darby just deserves a fresh start. We've been through a lot over the years. As you mentioned, we've been in the national news with all kinds of different headlines for things that we're not proud of as a community. We need a fresh start. We've got the people, we've got the history, and we've even got the potential. We just need the leadership. Leadership that believe in us, and leadership that's going to fight for us. I'm ready to be that leader. I'm ready to be that leader. I'm equipped, and I want us to work together. To be able to revitalize our community, to be able to save our community. Our community right now is in dire need of new leadership. I'm equipped. I'm ready. I have the bandwidth to do what needs to be done. I've already identified what needs to be done. I've done my due diligence of already identifying the issues. We found some of the solutions already, and I want to work with you as the residents of this community to be able to implement some of those solutions that we're thinking about. Like I said, my door is going to be an open door. My office is going to be an open door policy. You are always welcome, and I look forward to working with you as your mayor.
It's power pack. So Joel, I want to finish this thing up, but then again, something came up. So this is not your first time contesting. Why did you come back to contest again?
Sure. I ran in 2021, 4 years ago, and I ran as a write-in. Right, the community asked me to run, and I ended up giving it a shot as a write-in. Right, we did not win that race, but we came very close. We came within 100 votes shy of winning. That was a message. That was a strong, powerful message that the community sent, and that was a message to not be ignored. To run a write-in campaign, it's already difficult as it is. Most people don't run write-in campaigns. Most people, if they don't make the ballot, they just, wait for next term and decide, that's that. But our passion and our involvement in the community, and the level of relationships, the level of personal relationship we've established in the community was so deep that we were confident enough to be able to run a write-in campaign. And like I said, we ran a write-in campaign that, while it wasn't successful, it was awfully close, within 100 votes shy of winning. So the fact that we were able to get that close as a write-in motivates us even more now. So we are actually on the ballot this time. We've secured the ballot, and we've been doing the groundwork, and we are looking good. We are in great position right now to be able to do this thing. So we need your help with it. We need your help. We need the community. We need other peoples that may be watching this that may not be from Darby Borough. We need your help as well, whether that's coming out to canvas or whether that may be just donating financially, because running campaigns are very expensive. It's a very expensive journey. So those are all the different helps we could use. If you would like to know anything else, you could visit our website at joardahn.com, Joar, Joar, Dahn, DAHN.com. And there are different opportunities there to stay engaged. Our email address, our phone number, it's on there. We're going to be very accessible. Like we said, we're doing it now, and we're going to do it when we're in office. So,
wow. Thank you so much, Joel, for sharing time and space with us. And thank you for honoring our invitation. It's been a pleasure hearing about your plans for Darby Borough and getting to know the vision you have for the future. Best of luck with your campaign, and we look forward to seeing you how Darby will grow under your leadership. Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, Charles, I appreciate the invitation, man. Thank you so much for having me. I'm wishing the We Too Are Liberian movement success on this journey. I want you to know, you have a fan. You have a fan. I'm rooting for you guys. This won't be my last time coming here. As long as the invitation is extended, I will be back. So thank you all for having me tonight. To all of the viewers watching, thank you again. Election is May 20th in Darby Borough. Visit joardahn.com to find out how you can get involved in this movement. This is a movement, that it's not about me. It's about all of us, so I would love to have you a part of this movement. Thank you.
And thank you all, our viewers, for tuning in to another episode of the We Too Are Liberians movement. Until next time, stay informed and stay involved. Good night, and we look forward to another episode coming up. Joel, you have a good night. As you all know, topic up there is Mr. Joar Dahn, a young Liberian-American aspiring to be mayor of Darby, Pennsylvania. Thank you very much for coming. Look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter.